How are you doing? My name is Joseph Ngugi. I'm one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind. And I'm here to talk about a topic that's really been a part of my journey from the time I was a pre-PT up until now as a physical therapist. If you don't know much about myself or Casey, we are the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind. We've been serving pre-PTs really since I was a junior in college, really from a lot of needs that I saw on my campus. And that's translated into what is now Pre-PT Grind. And it has been an absolutely amazing journey. I see we have Jasmine on here. We have Mackenzie. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And the topic that I want to talk about, how you doing, Brenston? But the topic I want to talk about is one that's really been a part of everything I've done. As a pre-PT, it followed me through physical therapy school and even into being a physical therapist. It put me in positions where I almost didn't take certain leaps. It's something that a lot of pre-PTs like yourself might currently be feeling. It deals with worth and whether or not being a physical therapist, whether we have been rejected 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, is still worth it. And that is imposter syndrome. But before I go into that, just know that if you feel like this is you, at all, feel free to comment below, ask me any questions tonight. We're just gonna talk about it because really, for a lot of you have this dying passion, this dying desire to become physical therapists. So we wanna make sure that we give you absolutely every option, every chance to win as a pre-PT in this amazing profession. Now, one thing is, and I'll share more of my story later on, but one thing is, honestly, I didn't want to be a PT from the beginning. As an immigrant, I'm from Kenya originally. How you doing, Donette? Good to see you. As an immigrant from Kenya, a lot of the expectations were you have to be a physician, a lawyer, or an engineer. And so for a long time, I was always trying to live up to certain expectations. I'm the firstborn in my family, so there were certain expectations there. When we came over from Africa, there were certain jobs my parents had to do. And I'll talk about that more when I, share my story deeper. But really, good to see you, fam. I had to start babysitting my siblings when I was 7 years old. And so from an early age, I had to assume a role as someone that really understood what they were doing, as someone that was in charge. But internally, I've always been scared. I've always been afraid of what other people are gonna see, what other people are gonna say. I've always been afraid of being exposed. And from the age of 7, I remember there were times when, we'd be at home and, it's like the campus safety, because I lived on like a campus premise where my parents went to school. It's where I ultimately went to college. It's also where I got my doctorate from. But when I was a kid there, the campus safety or the police on campus would come knock on our door if they heard something funny. And in those moments, because of how scared I was, I would actually take my sister and my baby brother and we'd run into the room and we'd hide under the bed, because that's just how I was scared. But because I was the firstborn, because I had to, Jamie, how you doing? But because I just had to be brave. I had to appear the part. I had to look the part. But that followed me into being a pre-PT. That followed me into high school. Remember, I told you I wasn't gonna be a PT. I was supposed to be a doctor. So for me, it was all about living up to expectations. It was living up to my parents' expectations. They wanted their son to be a doctor. The way I convinced my mom was by saying that, Mom, it's going to be a doctorate. It's going to be a doctorate. Your son's still going to be a doctor. And because of that, she bought into it. So I went down that path. Another physician later convinced me that because of the lifestyle I was looking for, because of my personality, because of my love for engaging with people and talking with people and wanting my weekends and not wanting to be on call and not wanting to be in school forever, he was like, you know what? Physical therapy will actually be a great option for you. So I locked into it. But just like that moment when the cop came and knocked on my door and I had to run with my siblings and hide under the bed, I was still scared. I was always scared. As an undergrad, I was always one of the youngest in my class. And I always felt like I didn't belong, so I had to look the part. For classes where most people felt like Jacqueline, how you doing? For classes where most people really didn't have to work necessarily as hard, I worked twice as hard. I slept less because I was like, well, I don't want to be exposed. I don't want other people to realize that I'm not really supposed to be here. When it came time for applying, I worked extra hard because I was like, man, if someone's going to study, this many hours for the GRE, I'm going to try to do it double because I still don't want to get exposed. I'm a baby. I'm not supposed to be here. It was this inner fear. And the thing is, for a lot of you that may have followed, pre-PT grind, you've seen live streams with Casey and myself. A lot of people would say that usually I have a lot of energy. And I do. Like in the clinic. What's up, Trisha? How you doing? How you doing? Jerry, good to see you, brother. But even on live streams, like, it's not that I've been fake. It's just that has been the person I needed to be. So I learned how to have a lot of energy. I learned how to show the right face, but internally I was always scared. And I know that you might also be going through the same thing. I know that you, as you're getting ready to apply, might also be going through that same anxiety. Larry, how you doing? That same fear. That same, what if I don't make it? What if I don't get accepted? What if I actually just choose physical therapy and I just lock into it so much and so hard, but don't give myself any other options? What if it just doesn't work? What if I don't what if I don't get in? If I don't get, what then? What then? If you're watching right now, whether you're watching live or on replay, if you've ever felt that at any point in your journey, I want you to comment me. If you've ever had that feeling where you're just saying, like, I don't know if I really belong. I don't know if I fit the mold. I'm seeing all these students go into it with high GPAs. I'm seeing all these students go in with higher GRE scores. I've been looking at the numbers online. I've been seeing that schools are accepting these scores on the GRE. And I'm seeing and I'm saying, I don't see myself in that. I don't see myself in that. And honestly, like, really what it is a lot of times, the reason why we have to talk about this, a lot of times we feel like we're the only ones going through it, but the reality of it is, if you're seeing all these me's, yup, like, you realize that you're not alone in this. You're not. But I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that as a pre-PT. Heck, even as a physical therapy student, it followed me. In my PT class, I was one of the youngest. I was actually the second youngest student in my PT class. And one thing, it was the same feeling I had since I was young, but one thing I remember is my second year was actually the year I almost lost my seat in physical therapy school. Right now, a lot of you are trying to get in, get accepted into PT school. Once you get accepted, you get really excited. And if you're in this group, you start helping other people, which we love. And that's why this community is here. But the honest truth is, like, my second year of PT school was the worst year for me in physical therapy school, period. It's when I had the lowest grades. It's when, I was at the bottom of the class that year. I never shared my scores when we had exams because, everyone kind of knew. Casey shared a little bit about his story and we went to the same program. He was a year behind me. We went to the same program. So they had this sheet of paper that they would put outside the door and they would have all your grades for every exam. Just boom, 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 boom. It would have all your grades. And honestly, like, what was most frustrating about that was, well, you can see what score you got, but what sucked about it was when people figured out what your alias was or what your code name was, because you had to make up one. When people figured that out, they'd be like, "Ah, man, Joseph's messed up." And mine wasn't hard to figure out. I'm a Kobe Bryant fan, so mine had it was like I think it was like KB 2408. Anyone could have figured that out. KB for Kobe, 24, he wore the number 24, 08, he wore the number 8. And then like a 23 at the end. Because, I don't know, put a 2-3 and it's like Michael Jordan, LeBron, I don't know what. I'm a basketball geek. And so that's what I did. So it wasn't too hard to figure out that this cat Joseph was not doing well in his second year of PT school. It was the same problem. I hadn't gotten rid of it just because I got accepted. And the reason why we have to discuss this is because a lot of those fears and anxieties that we feel right now, we really have to understand that one, we're not alone in them. But there's also certain things we need to do if we don't want it to follow us into our careers. If you don't want it to follow you into your first year of PT school. I remember sitting down my girlfriend at the time. She's currently my fiance, getting married next year. But I remember sitting her down and telling her, I don't think I was supposed to be in this program. I think I stole somebody's seat. What that means is the hard work that you're going through right now, the hard work that I went through just to get accepted into PT school, I felt like, well, that hard work was good. The motions were great. Even though I got accepted, I still don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. I had never stepped back long enough to actually figure out what I really wanted. I never figured out why I was so anxious about everything. I mean, even I'm doing a live stream right now, but I can tell you the first time I did a live stream early in 2017, I think it was February of 2017. If you guys go on my Facebook page, you can find it. But it took me 45 minutes just to start that live stream. I've always been internally scared. I can hide it real good on the outside, but I've always been a freak out on the inside. So my second year, I said, I'm not supposed to be in this program. I shouldn't have gotten accepted. I'm not supposed to be. You know what? I told her, and I believe in God. And so I told her, I didn't even consult God on this. I did not consult God on me being in physical therapy school. So you know what? Maybe I wasn't meant to be here. I hadn't even accepted the gift of being accepted into a PT program, knowing how hard other pre-PTs were working, because I was so scared about being found out. I was scared about being an imposter. Sarah, I completely hear you. I was the class president all 3 years in PT school. I was still scared of being found out. All those things were fronts just to say, okay, I'm here, I deserve to be here. But internally, I didn't feel it one bit. And it affected how that second year went. It got me to the point where I contemplated just dropping PT school. I was looking for other ways out in terms of how I could level my career up. And ultimately, pre-PT grind would have never existed had I done any of that. Casey and I getting to the point where we had a conversation during my third year in PT school that led to this wouldn't have even happened. So even this conversation we're having would have never existed. But it's funny because once I started realizing that maybe I was supposed to be a PT, it took a few people. My girlfriend was number one. She's my fiance once again now. But my girlfriend was first. My sister was another. I had 3 friends in PT school that were key, 2 of which are currently in this building right now because they moved because we got that close and everything. But 2 of them are here, one's in Hawaii. I had about 5 people in my corner that still believed in me. And those 5 people have been the single most powerful people in my entire career. My career does not exist today if it's not for them. It's because of those 5 that we know that this community, this pre-doctor of physical therapy students community, is more powerful than you might believe it is. Because it's filled with other people that are not only going through the same things you're going through, the same anxieties, the same fears, the same frustrations, but it's also filled with people that believe in you. And if nobody in this group believes in you, at least Casey and I and our team does. You at least got us. At least. There's 3.4 thousand people in this group right now, and you at least got us believing in you. All I needed was 1. The other 4 were a bonus. But I could have not done any of that on my own. A lot of times, the conversations that made it hard for me as a pre-PT were conversations I had with faculty members, with teachers, individuals that were supposed to be advisors that were supposed to guide me towards getting into physical therapy school. But little did I know, or little did I understand, that they either had never experienced that journey, or they were too far removed from it to actually understand those anxieties, to understand what it would take. So because of that, I was scared and I had to rely on other students that were going down the same track. Other students that were applying to PT school. Other students that were hungry about becoming physical therapists, about getting accepted regardless of anything. These are the same professors that told most of my friends when I was a sophomore in college that they should pull the plug because during their first year in PT school, during their freshman year, their GPA was too low. Today, Casey and I just had a podcast interview with somebody that literally had a 1.86 GPA at the end of their freshman year, and they're currently a physical therapist. You tell me you can't do it? You tell me that you don't belong. 1.86 GPA. I'm not going to spoil the podcast episode because it's coming soon. So if you listen to our podcast episode, just be on the lookout for it. But a 1.86 GPA, and he's currently a physical therapist. He went through multiple application cycles and he's currently a physical therapist, feeling the same level of anxiety that I was feeling. But he said, you know what? I know without a shadow of a doubt that if I picked anything else other than physical therapy, I'd be settling for less. If I picked anything else other than physical therapy, I would not be living up to my purpose. I'm scared as heck about doubling down on physical therapy. This is what he said. I was scared about doubling down on physical therapy, but I knew, what else do I have? Anytime his family said, you know what, pick something else, do athletic training. He's like, no, I want physical therapy. But your GPA, I want physical therapy. But you can do, okay, I want physical therapy. And I needed people like that in my corner. I needed people like that who, during my second year of PT school, when I was a pre-PT, when I was going through the process, even during this past year as a physical therapist, you think those fears just disappear? Even during this past year as a physical therapist, having those same people believe in me in the way that you have to have people that believe in you. The thing is, there are so many people that are trying to help you, give you advice based on the fact that they want you to be safe. They want you to achieve something. And because of that, they're going to tell you, you know what, maybe PT's not it. You didn't get accepted after the first time. You know what, maybe it wasn't your calling. I know people that got accepted after their fourth or fifth time. Come on now. If it is your calling, it's your calling. If it's for you, it's for you. If you don't feel like you deserve it, let me just let you know right now, you do. And if you don't, your patients do. And I know that might seem far-fetched right now, but right now, when I wake up every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, like tomorrow morning when I wake up and I go see my patients at 8 a.m., and I'll probably do a few live streams in there to show you guys a little bit of that, but when I go to see them, I know that the conversations I have are based off of the experiences that I've had, the frustrations that I've had. No, I might have not torn my ACL before, but because of certain frustrations that I had even as an applicant, I understand some of those fears. I understand some of those anxieties. I understand about everything. And I'm able to share that. I'm able to empathize. But even if I'm just there to listen, you're trying to tell me that even in my second year when I felt like I did not belong, you're trying to tell me that the patients I'm seeing tomorrow, I'm technically not, they're not technically supposed to be served by me? That things didn't work out for them to actually come. I mean, either they're giving me value or I'm giving them. I was meant to take care of them. If someone just showed them to me as a pre-PT when I was feeling this level of anxiety, if someone just showed them to me during my second year of PT school when I felt completely under everything, I felt like I was just crap. Yo, when you're the youngest in the class or the second youngest in the class, and during your second year, you finally hit the point where you're like, oh, I was like, yo, this is exposure year. I've been exposed. And because of that, because I was comparing myself to all my other classmates and everybody else that was in there and how well they were doing and how they were still able to go and enjoy themselves and still kill it on the exams, practicals, everything with the confidence. I was like, yo, I don't belong here. But tell that to my tell that to my patients. And so I know it's far away. It feels far away. But if you're applying this cycle and you're getting accepted this cycle, that's 3 years. If you're applying next cycle, that's 4 years. That's not a lot of time. And because of that, Casey, myself, and our team have dedicated our lives to making sure that you not only receive the accountability, the encouragement, the motivation, the drive, and the direction to achieve your dream of becoming a physical therapist, but to simply believe in you. Ultimately, to believe in you. Because if one person believes in you, that's the world of difference. But if you feel anything like what I described tonight, like what I felt, like what I sometimes still feel, like I'm not gonna front like it goes away, but I have to keep those people around me. If you feel any of that, then just know you're still in the right place. You're still in the right profession. You're still meant to be a physical therapist. This is for you. I don't care if you're a non-traditional pre-PT. I don't care if this is your first go around. I don't care. Like even when you're looking at like how expensive it is, like understand what this really means. What does this really mean? Like, what does this really mean for your family? I understand now as someone that's about to get married, what this really means to my soon to be wife and my future kids. I understand that it's me being able to give them a life that I could not have given them had I settled. So what does it mean for you? Maybe it's a future family. Maybe it's a current family. But what is it? What are you really fighting for? What are you really doing this for? This is not about grades. This is not about GR. That's only part of it. But what is it really about? What is it really for? Once you figure that out and once you hone in on that, then it's a wrap. All you need is for someone to believe in you. And I'll help you out. I believe in you. And Casey, myself, and our team are going to keep believing in you until you believe in yourself. Sometimes I don't believe in myself. And that's fine. And that's fine. But that's why we need so many people around us that do just that. Andrew, good to see you. Samantha, Frankie, it's good to see you. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. But just understand that we're going to be serving this group now more than ever. We're going to be doing a lot of live streams in here now more than ever. Even tomorrow night, Casey and I are coming in here together to just add value to you, your experience, your journey. Good to see you, Drew. Like your journey, your experience as a pre-PT until we get you into physical therapy school. This is the most powerful pre-PT community in the world right now. This is the biggest pre-PT community in the world, but it's because of you. You have to believe in you. And if you don't, I got you. I'll do it for you. But just understand that you're not alone. I still experience it. It almost got me kicked out of PT school. It almost allowed me to, I almost bought myself out of PT school. So don't get in your own way. You were meant to be a PT. You were meant to get into PT school. The stumbling blocks that you're feeling right now, don't let that hold you back. You were meant to go across the finish line. And that's it. Let's get it. You have a great rest of your Wednesday night. We'll talk soon. If you have any questions, always reach out to us at contact@preptgrind.com. Our team, actually Casey and myself, are just ready to take care of you. We're ready to take care of you. Any questions you have, if you feel like this was you tonight and you're like, yo, I need to talk to somebody about this, hit us up right now. Like go right now, go to contact@preptgrind.com, go right there and send us a message. Let's talk right now. Let's talk today. Let's talk tomorrow. Let's talk this week. Whether you're watching this live, replay, let's take care of business. Because physical therapy is right now the best profession in healthcare, and y'all are part of it. Y'all just got lucky and showed up into this world of PT. So let's make sure that you believe in yourself long enough, or you have somebody like myself and Casey and our team that believes in you long enough to make sure that you don't cut yourself short or fall short of what you're really capable of. Have a good evening. We'll talk soon. Bye.